How to go and buy shares using the Trader workstation. So we're in the main Mosaic platform here again. You can see there on the left hand side, currently we have Microsoft loaded up on the charts and everything else is linked to Microsoft here. So we're going to change that to Apple. We want to go in and buy 1,000 shares of Apple. So we click on Apple. So you can see the chart changes to Apple, the news flow changes to Apple, our quote changes to Apple, and then here on the right hand side you see our order entry window is brought up with Apple automatically. We'll go through that in a moment. First of all, I want to bring you up to the monitor window and click on portfolio. So you can see here at the moment we've absolutely no shares in our portfolio at the moment. So we're going to change that now by buying 1,000 shares of Apple. So we come down to the order entry window and we can see we've got Apple uploaded here. And we can see that the bid price is 109.76 and the ask price is the 109.77. So the ask price is the price that we're going to pay when we want to go and buy the shares of Apple. Now there's a green note beside it saying it's shortable. Don't worry about that. That's only if you wanted to short stocks. And that's not of interest to you at the moment. So it's just no need for you to worry. So we're going to come down to the bottom of this screen and we're going to click on buy because we want to buy the shares. And you can see that the quantity is a default of 100. We're going to change that to 1,000 shares. So we'll add in another 0 there. So now we have 1,000 shares. And you're going to be presented with the next option, which is limit. If we do the drop down, limit, market, or adaptive IBalgo. Don't worry about adaptive IBalgo. It's not of your concern. The only two you need to know about is limit and market. Now, we would always recommend that you use a limit order. And the difference between a limit order and a market order is this. Limit is where you're dictating the price you're prepared to pay for Apple. So let's say for argument's sake you decided, do you know what, I don't want to pay 109.74 for Apple. If the share price drops to 108, I will pay 108. So you will put in a limit price and then we come into the limit price window here and type in 108. And that means that you will not get to buy these shares of Apple unless the share price drops to 108. So it's a really useful feature and that's what we want. Now if you were in a rush and you just wanted to get filled on an order, you would click on market. We would suggest that you don't do that. You always choose your limit order. So we're going to choose a limit order, and because we want to get filled, we're prepared to take what the market is offering at the moment. So we'll go 109.77 as a limit price. So we'll just edit that and hit return. So the next section is a day. You can see it's automatically populated with day order. And you can see there's two choices here, day or GTC. So a day order means that this order will stay in your trading system for one trading day. And GTC means that the order will stay in the system for up to 6 months or until it's filled, whichever event comes sooner. And that can be very useful for you because let's say for argument's sake you are interested in buying Apple. As I said earlier, you may only be interested in buying at 105, for example. So you will click in GTC and type in a limit price of 105. And that means that that order would actually stay in there until the order was filled at 105. Or if we get to a 6 month stage where the order isn't filled, then the order will just disappear. So you don't have to be looking at your trading screen every day. That's the best thing about this here, using the GTC order. So we would always recommend you use GTC. The advanced section you don't need to worry about just for now. We're going to talk about that in advanced orders later on. So just a very quick summary. We want to buy 1,000 shares of Apple. We clicked on buy. We put our quantity in at 1,000. We're choosing a limit price of 109.77. What does that mean? We're saying to the market we only are prepared to pay a maximum of 109.77 for the shares of Apple. And we're going to let that order stay in the system for up to 6 months. So we'll click on submit. And what happens is you get an order window that pops up for you here. Now, in Interactive Brokers, before we go on, there's default settings in it. So you can see here there's little messages in the middle of your order confirmation window. It's saying the order size of 1,000 exceeds the size limit of 500. So we're going to change that and say, well look, allow us place up an order up to 10,000. So we click on update. So that message won't show for us again. It's then saying the estimated order value of $109,000 exceeds the value limit of $100,000. So we'll change that limit to $200,000. And we click on update. So they won't show up again. So let me talk you through the order confirmation window. So it's saying here, it's like your last chance saloon. Are you sure you want to go and buy 1,000 shares of Apple at a limit price of 109.77, and the order will stay in the system, it's good till cancelled or within the next 6 months. The routing system is smart routing. What does that mean? In the stock market, there are market makers that make the buy and sell prices for stocks, and there's lots of them for the same stock. And what smart routing does, it routes your order through to the market maker that's going to get you the best price. Down below, it's just a summary of what your trade is going to cost you. So they reckon it's going to cost you $109,000. The trading commission is anywhere between 10 cents up to $6 to place that particular trade. On the right hand side, you can see margin impact. We're not going to talk about that now because we cover it in a separate unit, which we will talk about later on. And after that, we just click on transmit. And you can see that order has gone into the market. And we've got a note up here in the bottom right hand corner of our screen saying bought 1,000 Apple shares. So I want to show you a couple of things. First of all, bottom right hand of the screen, our activity orders. You can see Apple buy limit 109.77 quantity, and it's telling us what we got filled at. We actually got filled at 109.54. So you can see how the smart routing worked there. Even though we said we'd pay up to 109.77, they routed it through to a market maker that filled us at 109.54. If we change the orders tab here to trades, you can see there, and we'll pop this window out, it's talking us through the trade here that we got. So we've bought our Apple shares 1,000, the quantity, the price, and we can find out what our trading commissions, etc. are here. So I'll do that for you. So our trading commissions was $6.35. We'll bring that back in. And the last thing I want to show you is our portfolio window. So remember earlier on we didn't have anything in our portfolio window. Now we have our 1,000 shares of Apple. So now what I'm going to do is teach you how to go and actually sell those shares of Apple, and that will be in the next lesson.